What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the J2C channel. I'm sorry that I haven't posted in the past several days. I've been very sick with COVID. I've been coughing a lot, so I couldn't make any videos without coughing every 2 seconds. If you saw my last video, I kind of did that and I didn't like it, so I chose to take a little break and come back when things were a little better. And so here I am today making another Stellar Lumen video. Now again, if you guys have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, hit the button down below, hit the like button, hit the notifications button so you can get all the latest news. If you all have seen my past content, I am very bullish on Stellar Lumen, very bullish. I am bullish on XRP. I think those are the two utility tokens that are going to take over the world. They're going to be very dominant in the next few years, specifically 2022. It's a big year. Stellar Lumen hasn't really done much with its marketing, but they've been building its foundation. They've been making partnerships with companies, with countries, and this is impressive for the fact that they're a non-for-profit, meaning there's nobody really selling their tokens to take a payday. But Stellar Lumens is a big one in my eyes, and honestly, I can't wait to see what it does over the next year alone. But let's get started to it. You know, the government is always talking about Stellar Lumen. It is one of the few cryptocurrencies that it has accepted as a potential fix to its monetary problem, which is the US dollar is an inflation, based on inflation. It's you borrow more, you print more, the value goes down, the cost of goods go up. There's a lot of problems with the US dollar and the way the economy is run, but cryptocurrency is a big solution to that. And one of the big ones that they've talked about is Stellar Lumens because it's peer-to-peer, cross-border, easy to do, and it's going to solve a lot of problems. But let's talk about 2022. And now again, everything I say is not financial advice. I will not tell you to buy, sell, or hold. I give you the information, the facts, I give you the details, I give you everything you need to know so you can do your own informed decision on whether to buy, sell, or hold. So 2022 is going to be big in my opinion. I think very quickly and very potentially it could reach $1 first. Once it hits that mark, there's nothing really stopping it, especially as these companies start going live with their projects. And I'm going to talk about a few of these partnerships coming in. I mean, people say, well, the news comes out, but we don't see any movement here on these prices. And you're right. Usually it's adoption that brings up the price, not so much the news. But remember, you always buy the rumor and you sell the news. So expect now is a time to buy because these projects haven't gone live yet. A lot of it is still under development and everything seems to be pointing at 2022 for going live, including the US government. Once the US government starts to accept XLM, XRP, and a few of the other cryptocurrencies, which I believe these are the main two. There could be a couple other ones for other purposes, but utility tokens are going to be huge. And I like them better than any, meme coin, video game coin. Yes, they get a lot more run up initially of the hype, but they die down very quickly. And you see a lot of billionaires try to distract you with these meme coins so that you don't really know what's going on. You're buying on things are confusing you, but I would expect that going forward we're going to see utility tokens really pick up the pace. So let's go to Stellar Lumens, and they have a ton of projects that are going live and a lot of integrations, but some of the biggest ones are going to be things that involve major companies like Visa. They're going to, a lot of projects that involved MoneyGram. We're going to talk about even PayPal's involvement with Stellar Lumens. I mean, these are big names to really be throwing at something that if it wasn't useful, if it was going to die, if it had no potential, these big names would not be anywhere near this. They wouldn't associate their names with Stellar Lumens. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's look at the details. Let's talk about its big competitor too, XRP. Now, as most of you know, I stopped using CoinMarketCap. There's too much shadiness going on with them manipulating the numbers, especially with around Shiba Inu. And I believe they're going to get themselves into big trouble. So I've decided to go to CoinGecko, where the details are almost always accurate. So XRP, it's 83 cents. It's almost three times the price of XLM. Now there's a lot of news and information going on, and about the whole SEC lawsuit going on with XRP, and we think a lot of that may have been intentional for a reason to suppress the price of XRP. I mean, XRP almost at one point surpassed Ethereum, and I think it's going to do it again. And XLM may even surpass Ethereum. And Ethereum is going to be held down because their gas fees are just astronomical. And we think that there's a chance, maybe, unsure, it's alleged, it's not something that I'm telling you is factual, but there's a rumor that the SEC, the lawsuit popped up to help Ethereum wait for Ethereum 2.0 so they can compete. Otherwise, there may have already been, an outdated, unused software. So, but let's look at the circulating supply. There is 100 billion XRP tokens, right? And when you look at the price, it's 83 cents already, and it's been heavily suppressed by the split of the owners and the constant sell-off and the SEC lawsuit. So once this ends in 2022, expect XRP to go up. Now let's look at the competitor, XLM. And they're not really competitors because they do different things. XRP is government to government, whereas Stellar is person to person and B2B as well. So they're not really competing, but they're very similar. They just tackle different problems. So XLM is half of the the max supply of XRP. XRP is 100 billion. XLM is 50 billion. So you can expect to see that Stellar price is going to shoot up very quickly when it does, and probably faster. But it's always hard to compare pricing because when you have a difference, especially a 50% difference or 100% difference in the max circulating supply, so XRP is double that of Stellar. Just because one price goes higher than the other doesn't mean that they're actually doing better. So always look at the price, compare it to how many people are actually using it versus how many, the total supply, and then you'll see an actual number as to who's doing better or what. It's really about the percentages. So let me get into some of the news about, actually before that, let's look at the price, because I think that's going to be important to see why before we go into the news. So this is the current pricing of Stellar right now. It's about 29 cents, and it seems to be bouncing off the 30-cent mark. That is the resistance level currently. However, you see it here, and it went down. It hit this the support level down here. It shot back up. It hit the 30-cent mark, and it hit the resistance, and it went back down. Some people, this is a very massive cup and handle forming, and usually when you have a cup and handle, it shoots back up. So I expect this to break past the 30-cent mark, and when it does, there's really very little stopping it from hitting the 35 cents. And then from there, it's probably going to retrace back a little bit, get a little bit of correction. As you can see over time, I mean, look at this. Up, down, a lot of sideways movement here. And I'm going to show you here. Let me add an indicator here. Oftentimes what you see is this is the Bollinger Band. So you see the price action of, as you see it narrow, try to zoom in a little bit here. As you see it narrow here, usually what happens is you have a massive boom to the upside. You see this big widened gap. It starts to come down, comes closer together. As it comes closer, boom, goes back up. It becomes massive again, wide. Comes closer, boom, go up. So right here, you see for a long time, there was a big gap. It was very wide. The Bollinger Band starting to come closer together. And we're seeing up and down for a long time. I mean, this is right here from July, just all the way till today. it's been in the same range, and it's starting to get closer and closer together. So as I would expect that as the Bollinger Band squeezes the price a little bit, we're going to see a breakout coming up very soon. Again, this pricing, even the 45, this is all relatively low. I mean, if we look back at last year, May, this was almost 80 cents. Could it do it again? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how far back you go. I mean, you could see massive stuff coming, but again, Stellar doesn't really spend their money on advertising. They've been working on building their foundation. Why? Because that's important. You want to build your partnerships up. You want to train these companies. You want to train the government. You want to let everybody know why you are the product of choice. Now, give them time to develop. Once you have the partnerships, once you've got your name out there, once you have proven that this is a solid piece of software, everybody else is going to start flowing in. And then I believe they're going to start spending their marketing value. So I'm going to go to that in a minute here. But I just wanted to show you this. But I think for sure, once we pass the 30, there's going to be really nothing stopping it from hitting the 35. And then we'll take it from there. From there, it could probably go to the 40s or somewhere in between. I could see it starting to bounce back. But if you look here, about 40% is where it bounced off, since last year around end of June was the last time it hit the 40s. So you would think that that's probably where you're gonna meet the next resistance, and that's really going to be the important price level for it to be. Once it exceeds that, I think you're going to have a lot of people flocking back to XLM, because if it passes that price, I mean, it's only going to go up from there. So expect a boom in this very soon. I want to go back to something here on the website. So this is on the Stellar page. They are very transparent about all their stuff. Their price points, what they're spending money on. They're very what's the word here? Transparent, and they're conservative. They're not just spending money like half of these other coins. You will see that they sell their tokens off just so that they can pay themselves. This doesn't really seem to be the case here. And when you go back down here, I mean, look at this. They haven't spent any of their marketing budget here. They had the total. You could see their balances were about 6 billion. They're at 5,949,000,000, and you know the rest. They haven't really spent anything on marketing yet, and they're already this far. So I'd expect that as they start to spend some of their marketing money, it's going to be once a lot of these projects are in place. It's high usage from the government and other major companies, which I'm going to get to in a minute on some of these big partnerships that you need to know about. But I just wanted to show you that they're very transparent on all their numbers, and they're not just blowing their money on other stuff, that they're actually being very cautious on how they spend their money, and only when they need to. And they're a non-for-profit too, so this is really impressive that they're doing all this without trying to make a profit. All right, so let's get to the news, because Stellar has a lot of partnerships. I mean, these guys are everywhere, and there is look at all these projects. You could see MoneyGram, massive one, Tala, massive, Settle. I mean, I could go on and on. I can go on for days just creating posts about their partnerships alone. I mean, look at this. All these partnerships and projects, wouldn't be here if Stellar wasn't such a critical utility token. But I'm going to talk about some of these major ones. So I made another post in the past about MoneyGram. They're a massive, massive company. How massive? I mean, they have 150 million users across the world, sending money between countries, between states. I mean, they're huge. And they're expected to be launching their integration to Stellar Lumens in 2022. So once they launch, this is going to bring over 150 million users into Stellar Lumens. I mean, that alone is massive. And let's talk about Tala though, because Tala has some other major things going on with some big partnerships. Tala is a lending company and they have received investments from PayPal and to expand their company. And what did Tala do with that money? They went to Stellar Lumens. They're going to implement their credit product over to their consumer credit loans over to Stellar Lumens. So they're going to use it as a form of payment and repayment. What else are they doing? They're also partnering with Visa. So Visa is going to bring over all these banks and companies over to Tala, which in turn is going to bring them all over and give exposure to XLM. So expect that to be another major project that's probably going to be going live sometime in 2022. Another major one is the Ukraine government picked Stellar Lumens as its national digital currency to help build its national digital currency. So if whatever they're building is going to be sitting on top of the Stellar Lumens. So again, more usage, another government doing exactly what they set out to do. And I strongly believe that by the end of 2022, 2023, there's going to be some cryptocurrency regulations in the US, but also more the announcement of the US working with Stellar Lumen and XRP to solve some of the problems here in the United States with the USD. So especially as inflation keeps rising. So you see how all these projects are slowly building up, and this is the perfect time to accumulate. Like many of the other tokens, as we start to get more exposure in the world, it's going to be very apparent that this is now the time to accumulate Stellar Lumens and some of these other cryptocurrencies, because you may never see these prices this low again. It's like saying that you're going to eventually see Bitcoin back down at $3,000. I don't believe that's ever going to happen again, especially when we had that massive bounce back that gave people confidence that no matter what happens, Bitcoin is still going to stay up. So again, I gave you all this information because I want you, my followers, and other people to know that Stellar Lumen is going to be making people millionaires, especially if you accumulate now while it's so low. I've been accumulating Stellar Lumen since a couple years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and it has not disappointed. Even though it's been in a sideways pattern, I mean, it's still above the price from where I first accumulated. And so I'm recommending to other people to start gathering your Stellar Lumens, XRPs, some of the other ones. Crowcoin is another big one. Expect a massive 2022 and going forward, because I think cryptocurrencies are only going to begin to pick up steam. So if you haven't seen my videos already, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, hit the notifications button down below. I have other videos on how you can make Stellar Lumen coins for free, pretty much by using your gaming computer or regular computer to mine for them. And because you can't mine for Stellar directly, you have to mine for a different coin that automatically gets converted to XLM. So again, check my other videos out below. I'll catch you guys on the next videos. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, because I have a lot more content on the way. Thanks.